The Detroit Tigers had a strong first day of the 2018 MLB draft, grabbing top prospect Casey Mize and talented prep outfielder Parker Meadows. While some fans hoped for other players at No. 1 overall, few are truly disappointed with the team's strategy so far. Other national pundits have praised their efforts so far, including ESPN's Keith Law. But there is still work to be done. Tigers have 38 more picks remaining in the 2018 MLB draft, including the first pick of the Day 2 proceedings, which kick off at 1 p.m. on MLB.com. The Tigers have a number of different ways they can go with this particular pick, and are still looking at several players we were hoping they could draft in round 2. No matter the reason these players fell, let's look at some of the talented players we could see the Tigers pick up with their third-round pick, or beyond, on Day 2. RHP Kumar Rocker is a big-bodied right-hander that many expected to be long gone by this point. He is the No. 23 prospect on MLB Pipeline's draft board, and No. 29 on Fangraphs version. He is absolutely huge, at 6'5" and 250 pounds, and sports a fastball to match. He sits anywhere from 92 to 96 miles per hour with the heater, and can touch as high as 98 miles per hour. His mechanics need a little work, but he's a great athlete, and should be able to smooth out those inconsistencies with professional instruction. His slider is the better of two off-speed offerings, but as you might expect with a prep arm, both that and the changeup need work. The issue here isn't talent, but rather signability. Rocker reportedly wants a big payday to forego his commitment to Vanderbilt, and we might be past the point where any team can generate enough bonus money to woo him to the pros. Taking Rocker here would be a big risk, but after a night to negotiate, also an indication that the team is confident a deal will get done. RHP Cole Wilcox. You could copy and paste most of Rocker's profile here for Wilcox. Both are prep arms from Georgia. Wilcox outdueled Rocker in a high-profile playoff game in May, and both can reach as high as 98 miles per hour. Wilcox isn't built like a house, but still stands 6'5". His changeup is a bit better than his slider, but he has a good chance to develop a solid three-pitch mix. His delivery isn't quite as smooth as some others, though, and there isn't much physical projection remaining. But also like Rocker, Wilcox is probably headed to school at this point. He's committed to Georgia, and was probably expecting a payday in the $3 million range after getting so much love throughout the draft cycle. But if the Tigers grab him, it means they think they can sign him. RHP Tristan Beck. The industry is split on Beck, who missed significant time at Stanford this season due to injury. The draft-eligible sophomore had an excellent freshman season in 2016, but redshirted in 2017 after a stress fracture in his back. He has been solid this season, with a 2.98 ERA in 90 2/3 innings, but he only struck out 73 batters. Beck doesn't have overpowering stuff, but sits 91 to 92 miles per hour with a fastball and has an excellent changeup. He is the number 35 prospect at MLB Pipeline, but No. 70 on Fangraphs because his fastball is straight and doesn't miss bats. Of Tristan Pompey, few would have batted an eye if the Tigers had grabbed Pompey with their second-round pick. He's a big, athletic outfielder who should hit for both average and power, but isn't as speedy as his brother Dalton, an outfielder in the Blue Jays system. Tristan is a switch hitter that has displayed some power and patience from both sides of the plate. He is the number 51 prospect on MLB Pipeline's board, but has dropped due to a recent injury, nothing serious, from what I gather, and an uptick in strikeouts. His defensive profile is likely limited to left field as well because of a below-average arm. Of Mike Ciani, a surefire center fielder at the next level, Ciani is another prep player who will likely head to college. He stands a solid 6'1" and weighs 180 pounds, but scouts are worried about his ability to hit for power at the next level. He's a bit raw at the plate in general, as there are some swing and miss issues at play too. Defensively, he's a plus defender with a plus arm, and his plus speed will help him run down balls in the gaps. This gives him a relatively high floor as a prospect, but the issues with his bat and signability concerns left teams passing on him on Monday. He's one that could boost his stock in a big way in college. Nander Desetas was considered a potential top overall pick once upon a time, but has seen his stock plummet over the past year. Fangraphs is concerned about his ability to handle premium velocity, and there were questions about his offensive profile even before this recent drop. He could be a true five-tool player if everything pans out, but he might be better off going to Florida State and jumping back into the draft pool in 3 years. Of Kyle Isbell is another college outfielder many would have liked as the Tigers' second-round pick. He is a plus runner with an average hit tool, and should hit for some power as well. He's a well-rounded player who does a lot of things well, but doesn't have the loud tools that would have gotten him drafted on day one. There are questions about his ability to stick in center field, and his value takes a hit if he has to move to a corner. It's a fairly bland profile, but a safe one that should see him go early on Tuesday. RHP Blaine Knight. Oh, great, another SEC righty, right? Not exactly. While Knight is a hard-throwing right-hander who plies his trade in the Southeastern Conference, his command is a shade better than most of the arms the Tigers have grabbed in recent years. He went 11-0 and limited opponents to a 2.74 ERA for the Razorbacks this year, and walked just 22 batters in 95 1/3 innings, just over 2 batters per 9. He is razor-thin, at 6'3" and 165 pounds, but still ramps his fastball as high as 97 miles per hour. It sits a bit lower than that, though, and his off-speed stuff give him more of a back-end starter profile.